y'all. Sorry. Okay, so that's not going to work. All right. Well, maybe it will. No, it won't. Hmm. So, let's try this. I'm going to have to mute one of these mics, I believe. Let's try it now. Nope. This is testing, y'all. Sorry. Shut this. Shut this.
and they manage it. They manage the whole thing. And one other thing, I'm going to put my legal hat on. I love what they do. What they do is you aren't renting or leasing. You're buying membership into an organization that allows you to utilize a room. That way, it forgoes any issues with evictions and any of that other kind of stuff. They literally, quote unquote, cancel your membership. And they just do that because this is like a week to week kind of type thing.
Oh, that's cool. Very cool. Thank you so much.
That was fantastic. So I'm going to have to add you, Steve. We'll do a real estate. Tomorrow we have a real estate class. My sister, who is a realtor broker in Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina, and has been for a very long time. And so, yeah, exactly. So, and last year, I worked with the governor's office on ADUs, alternative dwelling units, and we can talk more about those things, right? I mean, like, there's all kinds of things happening, and so I had the opportunity to listen to them talk about some of the opposition that was coming up with ADUs, but certainly it's all about, do we have the space for the people? Because there's a need there. So we're going to talk about it. Steve, come back tomorrow too, so we can talk through some of this real estate, because people need to know how they can be empowered to join a syndicate and kind of get together and understand different forms of real estate, because there's so much out there.
Absolutely. Getting back to the vibe coding, do you know exactly, if I was a vibe coder, what I would do?
What would you do?
To try to monetize my skill? This is what you need to do. Find a business that has a problem. Proactively solve that problem through AI and vibe coding. Then you approach that organization and you say, I've identified that you have this problem. Do you agree? And they say yes. And then if you've got some foresight, you say, I bet you're trying to solve this problem in this way, but you're not seeing the results you need. And the next thing that you're thinking to try is XYZ. But I'm going to tell you, that's not going to work either. The answer lies in this direction. Now, if I've got your curiosity going, I'd love to be able to sit down with you, talk to you a little bit about the solution that I built for you. And if it resonates with you, I'd like to go ahead and enter into a collaboration with you. And when you say collaboration, that means contract.
Wow.
Hey, I gotta say, you're giving feedback when you was talking. Your mic was on.
Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. Oh, that was good too. That was a great sales pitch. All right, so I got to go to my co-host. Gabby has her hand up, then we're going to go to Ryan, and then we're going to start with the presentation. This is fantastic. Community coming together. Go ahead, Gabby.
Thank you so much for that conversation, Steve, because I wrote down a couple of things, and you're extremely right. HOAs are extremely strict, so the parking and all of that, a lot of people go through that, but here, I'm in Charlotte, and we actually have those co-dwellings. They've been around forever, but normally they've been catered to more of the college people who come in, they rent a room, and we have them all over near the university. But my question goes back to, you're saying people that buy a membership, and it's, is there an incentive to eventually, if somebody wants to be a homeowner, would there be any incentive?
Also, what you're trying to do, all right, somebody's got their mic open and it's causing feedback. Okay, how's that? All right, much better, thank you. Yeah, so as you can imagine, everybody is on some gradient of independent living. And so, to your point, the co-space that is like that college student, it can be somebody who's just in between jobs, in between marriages, relationships, whatever the situation is, and they have a housing need, but they don't want to go to the hotel that you pay by the week. They want something a little more on a roommate kind of thing. And by the way, Pad Split has identified that on average, people stay 8 months. So that's the need, the 8-month kind of type situation. And so what I try to do is, yes, I have everybody where I can meet you at your co-living part of your house, of your need, and then when you're ready, I could do get you into a property that's either lease option to buy or whatever, climb, out of whatever the situation is that's got you into the co-living space.
Thank you. That's exactly what I wanted to know. There's a young person who's starting out who, they don't have the money, haven't found the job, and eventually would like to be a homeowner. Could they, is there an incentive in order for them to, matriculate through they could have home ownership? Because I just, feel like sometimes that you will own nothing and be happy seems like it could be something that may be permanent, where someone may not want to just leave the country to live, but they want to live right here in the U.S. And some people do want to leave. But thank you for explaining that. So I appreciate your insight.
And just on the HOA thing, I think the breaking point is going to be this, and the community, the county that I'm in here in Georgia is addressing the same thing. The people who, if they're not offered a co-living opportunity, are going to end up living in their cars. And the county is trying to address, do we create a parking lot in the county that is designated for people that live out of their cars? And what I would say is, but if you just deregulate just a little bit, then we won't need the parking lot, because then people can co-live. Let's get people actually in buildings instead of living out of their cars.
Hear, hear.
Absolutely. I mean, this whole rent-a-room, rent-a-space is another niche, and how you do the leases and the compliance. It's incredible when you join. Listen, when you join.
I think it was TI a few years ago, bought a whole apartment complex for affordable housing. And I think there's an overlap there, especially with, you could just, that complex could be a smart contract. And then in that example, the path to homeownership isn't there. But if you had, say, a cul-de-sac houses with fractionalized real estate, and the tenants were totally accumulating more of that house, everything's already there to control the financial aspect and ownership of that property. So I think there's a very realistic and sustainable future there for both the problem of people that can't afford living and also the property management built into one system.
Yeah, just to understand, and I really don't want to derail this, but you know how like everything's blank as a service, right? Housing as a service, yes, you can make it so it's on the blockchain. You have your credentials. Every city would have the place that when you have your membership, you literally can just key card in, and they know you're only in the one place, and there can be like housing as a service down the road. Mm-hmm.
Get big.
And woman's always home. Maybe you get like a kindergarten teacher and a daycare teacher. But yeah, the possibility is pretty endless.
Absolutely. So these rental rooms. So I think I'm working out the technology in the background. I have 3 cameras going. I'm telling y'all, this is something. So we're going to get into the vibe coding presentation now. Hopefully I do this service. I think many of you, Steve, you already introduced it to us. Web350, you introduced it to us as well. So now I am trying to pull up. Okay. foggy right here. Okay, so I need to look over here. See, I'm telling y'all all this placement and stuff like that, but I need to pull up this presentation now and do a share screen. So I have it here. Let's see if I can share it. Share. I want to share it on here. So, oh, good. This is so good. All right, got it. Yay! Oh, this is good. All right. So, in going through this presentation, um, I wanted everybody to understand and simplify what vibe coding is. A vibe coding can be compared to cooking a meal. Just as the chef uses tried and true recipes to create amazing dishes, vibe coding allows you to combine various elements to build digital creations. The key takeaway is that anyone, and I mean anyone, can learn vibe coding, regardless of your background, and it offers a fun way to express creativity while building practical skills. It's an opportunity, everyone. So looking here, you have the opportunity to unlock your creative potential with vibe coding. It does three things for us. It offers accessibility to everyone. So for the first time, there's a level playing field. And you heard Steve, you heard Ryan, Web350 talk about, some people might snub their noses at the fact of you're using AI to help you code. And okay, and it enhances your problem solving skills, number two. And then number three, it encourages encouragement of creative expression. So that accessibility, allowing absolute beginners, first time, I'm going to pick up this keyboard, I'm going to pick up this monitor, I'm going to go to the library, I'm going to find a way to get myself involved in this technology. Enhance problem solving skills, learning that vibe coding and critical thinking, and problem solving, that's a skill. So as we move less from experience and more into skill based, I think this is something that will help people continue to scale what it is they want to achieve in life. This is like truly living your goals. And the last thing, the unique ideas to life, fostering the creativity. You just heard us talk about real estate. You heard us talk about the interactive experience of co-living even and what that can do. So I wanted to introduce this, and then I'm going to go to the hand. So go ahead, Rolodex Rex.
It's so much it's so much empowerment to get on these platforms, and go on Google and design, mock-ups. And I just want to give back. I want to give. I want to just giving as a service. Charity as a service, and for people to be able to do that at scale like this is just so empowering. And I just want to get to the point of the block though, because whenever I get to let's say I'm developing a quick project that should take me with AI today an hour. 1 to 3 hours of dev, I should be done. But whenever I get through with every one of these editors, the AI has taken all the code and put it in all kinds of different databases and no type of organized manner. So I don't have like a organized way to I have to go back in, and it's just like I wish that after I got through with editing my drafts that I could hit submit and it would automatically post it, like it would just be done the first time. I don't know how to get around this. So I don't know if anybody else has experienced the same problem. I'm sure everybody else has experienced the same problem. What's the solution?
I mean, I'm a non-techie tech. Maybe I'll answer the question in my presentation. I'll finish it up, and then we can actually come through and understand. Listen, I will throw out some stuff like you need to debug it. You need to run it first. I'll throw something out like that, and you'd be like, "What did she just say?" So you might want to hold on for a minute. And I'll get through the presentation, and then maybe it'll answer it. I don't know, but this is really for the beginners and helping them to just kind of put it out there, and then they can come to the community. I'm sure one of these devs know, like, they can build something in seconds. So hold that thought for a moment, and we're going to come back to it. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
That sounds good. So let's move on to the next one, which is step-by-step guide to vibe coding. See, I was wondering whether or not I kind of thought about this or not. So vibe coding is like painting with code. Like it's about expressing creativity. Begin with simple examples like "Hello World" page, and gradually build your skills through engaging projects that inspire you to explore further. I can't wait. I hope y'all thinking in the back of your minds right now, like, okay, they said that we're going to learn vibe coding today. Yep, you certainly will. In addition, we're going to build something today, right? And so I don't know, we're going to use some type of AI, and I'm going to share the screen, or I'm going to put it in a Word document. I'm going to write it out, and we're going to build something together, maybe a couple somethings together. And then maybe we'll run into that problem, Rolodex Rex. I'm not quite sure, but it's so important to just think about the next thing, exploring these essential tools for the platform for vibe coding, right? So the guide I think it's simple. What do you want to build? And then write it down and start building it. Like, vibe coding is accessible and empowering for beginners. So tools like Chat GPT, Replit, Canva, I'm thinking Gemini, I'm thinking so many can actually, these AIs, and they're free. Now, I'm sure they have a premium software that you can use in order to do some vibe coding, but I'm a simple chick, right? So Mike, Gabby doesn't have the co-host. Let me get her in the co-host position again. Mike, any thoughts on this vibe coding, and have you tried it? And if you have or haven't, why not?
I haven't tried it yet. I'm so busy. Am I feedbacking as well? Okay, so I haven't tried it yet. I'm just like soaking everything in, and I like the concept of it because coding for me was always a scary thing. I'm not a math guy. I was always into like history, English, languages. So yeah, I haven't tried it yet because again, it's just so coding has always scared me. But I have noticed I played around with it a little bit with ChatGPT, and I put in, okay, I want to create this kind of a certain system, and it'll give me the code that's like, okay, you can copy and paste it. That's obviously different vibe than what you guys know what we're talking about here, so I'm just soaking it all in.
Excellent, excellent. I like you. Like, it was scary for me. I'm throwing Gabby, the co-host, too. And let's get Gabby. Any thoughts? So just so y'all know, Gabby's my other co-host. Gabby, any thoughts around this vibe coding? Is it interesting to you? Not interesting to you? What's your thoughts?
I would say it's interesting. I think everybody should learn at least a little bit of something. Like you said, Hello World. And I know Coursera, I started out in Coursera with taking a small coding class, but then I had to stop because work was too intense and I was trying to do too much at one time, but never jumped back on it again. But I still think it's really good. I think we should learn a little bit. I mean, you can learn enough to be dangerous, I guess, but with all the help of ChatGPT, DeepSeek, Grok, Abacus. Abacus is a good AI tool. I say get out there and try just anything and see, take the time to develop the correct prompt in order to be able to get the help necessary. Because a lot of people keep saying, well, I think you're just giving all your brain power to Chat GPT and all these other, tools. I don't think that's the case. There are people who develop prompts, and that takes a lot of insight, and it takes a lot of work to develop a good prompt in order to get the feedback that you need that's necessary for your project. So, it does enhance your knowledge. So I don't want people to be scared. I want people to be receptive and learn a little bit. Don't be scared. It's okay. But I definitely want to get back into it. Some of the something that I'm working on, a little project, I do have to code a little, and ChatGPT is going to help me do it to get my podcast together, which will be all kind of AI. You have to be part of the world that you want to see. I want to see the world merge together, and I do believe with professionals, non-professionals, the everyday housewife, everybody can learn something and not be afraid to learn. So, I'm definitely excited about it, and I'm glad that we have more tools to help people learn. If they can't go get into a school, or if they have a busy work life, and they just want to experience and experiment, then they should be able to. So I'll say it's exciting, and everybody should learn at least a little something. So just want to, give some words of encouragement. Don't be scared.
Well said, Gabby, and thank you so much for sharing. And I want us to talk more about how we support each other in that development field and stuff. That's pretty cool, Gabby. Good job. Spoon?
I haven't coded for like over 15 years. So was wondering if you guys fill me in with this vibe coding. How does it work? So I'll give you an example. So when I used to go, one of the tools would be like Dreamweaver, for example, right? So I do my coding there. Sometimes I'll correct you with some syntax, and here and there I'll tell you that, oh, this grouping is broken. You forgot to put the backslash, that kind of stuff. How does this fit in? Am I sort of like talking and giving them a description of exactly what I'm looking for? Am I typing it in? How does that integrate to an existing areas where I used to code? Sometimes I code in one of these portals that gives you FTP access. I coded it. I had coded everything back then. And so is it a voice command type of coding? Like, I want you to create me a field for entry for this, and create me a database with this type of category, and blah blah blah. Right? Are you giving it a verbal order? Then it gives you a script, and can you say that I want it to be in back end and JavaScript in the front end, and I want you to create a database of MySQL? Is that how you're giving this order, and then it creates it for you?
Woo, my gosh. Well, I tell you, I just went to my screen and the live demo creating your first vibe coding projects. So that's a great question, Spoon, because the experience is pretty exciting to do vibe coding. And so in this live demo, we're going to create a hello world page. And it's interactive button and a basic to-do list, empowering us to unlock our creative potential. And I think it's pretty simple prompting, or it can be complex even. And sometimes, depending upon, like, I see when the code is being built, I'm like, oh my God, we're at 1,000 codes or 1,000 characters so far. So I guess the more characters, and I have to refine when I'm doing vibe coding even. But anyway, let me hear from Steve. You have some thoughts on it? Mike, you have some thoughts on it?
I'm excited about it. The more you guys talk about it, the more excited I am about it.
Well, I guess I have to try it out, because I don't know if it organizes the files for you. I've never tried it. I've never messed with any of this. This is all new to me. And does it organize it to where it follows the SSL protocol, saying that images needs to be sort of like grouped together in certain files, and you can give it a sort of like a direction that this is an SSL environment, this data should be encrypted, this, all that kind of stuff. I wonder if it does all that, because if it does, then that would be like awesome, right? But if it does only basic website, as far as the visual side, and more so than UI UX, I could see that speed up the process. But if it creates algorithm and you can guide it and say, I want it in this language, that would be awesome. I don't know, right?
So I have some examples ready for us from a software that I use. But I just want to say, guess what, you all? We made it to the end of this particular space when it comes to introducing vibe coding. So together, we're going to unlock our creative potential through this exciting world of vibe coding. So I'm ready to share my screen. I'm going to share it with you all right now. This is what I use to do my coding. I have codes already preset for us to go into. Now, I didn't create these pre-codes, but I want to show you kind of how I'm able to code really quickly. So let's go to Web 350, then we'll go over to Rolodex Rex.
Oh, you could keep going. I have responses for Rolodex Rex and Spoon, but I have a feeling I'm going to jump ahead like 3 weeks even. So, and I see your screen's up now, and I'm watching it. So just keep rolling.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, and then anyway, go ahead. Rolodex Rex.
Just to respond to Spoon, to me it seems as though, so like whenever you're typing it in, you can have it separate and organized by databases, but it's not like you created a wireframe first. It creates everything, so it's more so a UI, like a visual fix, unless you use tools like Cursor, which I haven't really dove deep into. Because what happens is you have you spend an hour in developing something, then a prompt will be just changing a color sometimes. Like you need to change the background a little bit. And if you're trying to maintain your database organization and you want to change a color, whenever you give it that prompt to change the color, what it does is it goes through and it completely rewrites the prompts. And whenever, like almost every prompt, it'll do a prompt rewrite. So even if you're doing the smallest little edit, it'll re-edit the code and it'll create its own way of saving stuff into a database. And I think that it's a visual first fix for now. Whenever you're talking about stuff like schema, syntax, all that type of stuff, that's for the data side. That's for like whenever if you want to have a company that's harvesting data, then you want to know like the binary code, like you want to really get down to it, then that's going to be the syntax stuff that you're going to be doing with probably a different AI model than one of these. So like with vibe coding is more just like, hey, we're creating a quick website that's going to be visually awesome and it's going to allow us to gather our customers, or a dashboard, a SaaS dashboard that'll help us manage our KPIs super quick and intuitive. Thank you.
No. My thing was that, and real quick, I'll be super quick about it. Is that you can give it a command to write a certain site, but are you going to be able to follow it as like a former coder or anything like that? Because is it written in a whole new kind of language? That's why I wanted to know if it's like specific to a language.
So that's how, like, if you want to follow it like from the start, if you want to follow the same database, like that's how I do it, because a lot of people don't realize that you can go in and change stuff yourself by clicking the codes part. Like it gives you a code window and it gives you the window that what the visual actually looks like. So you can go in and you can edit the code, and it's very common and easy to point out a color, and change your colors to the way that you want them, and it'll uphold that same code within the code that's written if you made an edit to the code.
I got you. A better question would be for me to be more specific. Does it organize files? Like exactly, you have your template file, you have your language file, you have your modules, you have your JavaScript file. Does it do that, or does it just give you like a whole bunch of codes in one page?
All the codes in one page.
No, I don't like that.
It depends.
Because it actually puts it in different folders, a bunch of different folders. Depending on the model you use. I use Replit, Cursor, Claude. But they put it in different folders. And you don't necessarily have to build a database right away. You can start, building slowly and then add database as you go. But you can edit each folder. You can download it as a zip and then import it into Cursor and keep working on Cursor. I usually use Replit for the front UI, and then I transfer it into Cursor and finish the applications.
Does it understand?
Sorry.
Does it understand the structure of SSL?
Go ahead.
Oh, I thought I'm having problems with my connection. Does it understand the structure of SSL?
Oh, it understands everything. That thing, once that thing starts hallucinating, it's going to be the best coder in the world. That's why I just graduated with my bachelor's in computer science, and I just started studying cybersecurity. anyone is going to be able to be a developer as long as you have a good imagination and you know what you want to build and you work hard through it. You're going to be able to build anything, regardless whether you have coding knowledge or not. So,
would you consider the cursor a vibe coding alternative? Because whenever you get into cursor, you have to be knowledgeable about coding. It's not just vibe coding. Like, I can just go in and type in something and create a website or an application. That you're building a repository.
there's always guides on YouTube. I don't think you need to be an expert. I think you should not be afraid. But I do recommend you do the front. You start your prompt with Replit, and then you transfer it to Cursor because it's always going to look more beautiful. Replit is like a god making the front end. So you transfer it to Cursor, and once you're in Cursor, don't be afraid. Just Google whatever you need to, whatever you need.
For the beginner, would be to just start with Replit, and so Replit will give you the instructions to integrate with Cursor, and then with Cursor you just homebound. I do agree. I mean, just about anybody can become a coder today. And just having that general understanding of the organizational structure of an application and the back end code will go far.
Let me ask you a question. I think that's King's voice. Is that right? Because I don't see who's talking about that by phone.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, man? So let me ask you: is it able to help you manipulate an existing application? Let's say WordPress, right? And if you say, hey, I want you to change this, instead of having to look through all the files, I used to look through all the files and manipulating WordPress. I mean, I can manipulate the heck out of it, right? I can hack it and take something out. But can it do that?
Cursor does. Replit does not do everything, but you can import some repositories and different files and edit them. Replit does not support everything, but Cursor does. So when you're trying to edit any application you've been working on that outside of vibe coding, you're probably better off bringing it to Cursor.
Now, how are these tools that you're using? Is it pretty up to date with any current type of security threat, like the way you write the scripts? So this way, no one can just put in any type of information or any type of script into a field, things like that, or it's not?
It's not. It's going to code and just not going to worry much about security. Once you're done and you see the application you want, you ask it to check for security measures and it'll start looking into the code and applying them. I still do recommend before you bring anything live. Like, I have a wallet I created and it's like, and I was checking it and it has so many security issues that it's not even, I couldn't even bring it out to say, hey guys, test it out because there's so many security problems. It's insane. So I have someone like, you're probably better off if you're going to have people use your whatever platform or app you're going to use, and there's going to be any transaction, any monetary transaction involved. I suggest you have someone professional check it out.
So it sounds like what you said is that it's not really 100% there yet, but it's getting there. And it sounds like that if you're an existing coder that really knows how to code, it's going to speed up the process for you. It's going to help you, but you got to learn how to code is what you're still saying. Because for anyone, if it's a basic website here and there for information, yeah, it'll work out. But if you're doing a certain application that deals with financials, deals with certain information, you need a code, right? But this will help you speed up as far as an existing coder. So I think that's what it says, or what you're explaining to me. So, and I think that with AI coming around, and especially on the security side of things, if they are up to par with that, with the latest threat or the existing ones, then I think you got a perfect circle there that's coming up. And I probably see that within the next 2 years, 3 years. That's going to be some awesome thing there.
Well, we can end the space now, y'all. So I thank y'all for coming out and participating. Y'all heard from the real devs, right? I'm the wannabe dev, and they was like, "How dare you come on here?" I'm like, "Hey, we got to start them somewhere." So y'all like, "No, no, you better teach them the real deal." I just said it was for beginners. Like, okay, that was fantastic, y'all. Thank y'all so much. And that's one of the things that I love is having you all as devs in here and really looking at it. So I keep it so simple. Like, you're absolutely right. I'm glad that you asked those additional questions that are, you know, it's safe. It really does provide safety when you're out here in these internet streets trying to innovate and create. This is the basics, and then there's more behind it. And if you like what you hear, like, this is where you'll get into my DMs, you'll get into any of the speakers' DMs. Now, guess what? This is for entertainment purposes only, right? Just because there's a speaker on here, I believe in each and every one of them that's on the space speaking. However, they have to tell you their rates. You can't say, "Yonder, they told me you said, This is for entertainment purposes only." But as you can see and hear by the conversation, that there's some real, experience in the room, right? I'm just the wannabe. I told y'all when I posted this, I'm like, my community gonna back me up with this. Thank y'all, community. Mwah. Let's go over to Steve for a second.
We got you, young man. We got you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. And I'm gonna show y'all how to make. Look, I'm gonna teach y'all how to make a birthday card. I'm gonna teach y'all something simple. Like, I'm not trying, but I am gonna show y'all something I created with a vibe code now, and then I understand the automation, the flow that goes into. Okay, I'm gonna be quiet for a minute. Let me go over to Steve. Then I'm going over to Rolodex Rex.
Yeah, so my primer on vibe coding is this. Seek out to create a clone of something that is similar to what you want, but has some incremental changes. That's been humanity. We all improve upon something that came before us. So set aside, find something, LinkedIn, X, whatever you want. And then what's really cool is, believe it or not, there are image to Figma files. So you can take a screenshot of a piece of software and AI will convert that image to what's called a Figma file. And that Figma file is just a technical way of basically describing the boxes, the buttons, and the text entry things and stuff like that. Then when you have that Figma file, now you can go back to AI and say, with this Figma file, go ahead and implement it in React, JavaScript, in Python, in whatever language you want. In the very exercise of cloning something that already exists, then you can start tweaking it. That often is a very easier way of breaking in than saying, "I want to start painting," and you're just staring at a white canvas, right? So.
Appreciate that you had mentioned Figma there, because I believe that the Figma solution for wireframe will always be, at least for now, it seems like it'll always be a great way to build a correct app, with less buggy app. But the reason I have my hand up is kind of related to this because I just had an epiphany. I don't know if anybody's worked with MCPs yet, but would an MCP be perfect for developing vibe coding apps that are have the perfect database structure at the end? I feel like I could set up an MCP that would rock that process and really make vibe coding the reality that we want it to be.
All right, Web350, Steve, that was good. Rolodex Rec, that is a great question. Web350, y'all all technical. Can I just show y'all something on the screen real quick? And then we go get back to the questions. But this is fun because I did create some stuff. Now I understand. Trust me, I got the security stuff. And I'm trying to put this, kind of together because I'm a wannabe developer. Not really, but okay, I guess I try. So let's go over to Web 350, then I'm going to come back this way. But I thought it would be fun for us to come in here and do some of this. So I'm glad that y'all are open and receptive to, teaching the world how we can get this done together. Y'all just amazing. Y'all give it up for my speakers. Y'all give them a follow. Y'all check them out on YouTube. Just listen. I mean, just incredible. Okay, go ahead, Ryan. Web 350.
I was just wondering if we were chatting or watching or what. Ready to watch.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so okay. I'm gonna do a grocery list build. No. Okay. So down here already, I beta tested the software with this company, and I have been in the background just kind of looking at all the capabilities that it can do. So I'm an AI poet, by the way, so I can create 3D games. I can do matching games, vocabulary sorting, and all these type of things. So I just thought I would make a really quick digital birthday card, right? And then I will show you some of this prompting that'll happen. And we can prompt it like you were saying, Spoon. So can I tell it to build a Python? Can I tell it, or a HTML website that does this? Well, okay. So, and let me just share this really quick before. So I needed to understand a couple different things. So I'm going to share this real quick with y'all. I needed to just kind of do something, and I shared this with a lot of you all in the past, and hopefully y'all can see my screen or not. No, y'all looking at me now. Hold on. Wait a minute. Something went wrong here. Okay, I didn't share this screen. So we're just gonna go on to, nope, I stopped sharing all the screens. I just shut it down. Okay, so let's go to the hands. Do we have any hands? Okay, well, let me just hold on and I'll share this real quick with y'all.
I got a hand up, Nanda.
Okay, go ahead.
What are you talking about? Are you streaming right now and I don't see it? Am I supposed to be looking somewhere else?
Yeah, I think that you can't do it. She's doing it on YouTube, right? Yolanda, you can't do it on, I don't think you can do that on Twitter.
No, I'm streaming on YouTube and on X. I'm live streaming right now.
Oh, okay.
What was the other link, right?
So it's I don't click on my profile and you should see me streaming. You should be able to see my screen. So this is the presentation that I've been going through.
So I can hear you.
I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so going directly to your screen and clicking it, I went and viewed you in the hallway, and I can see the video in the hallway, and it doesn't repeat. So it's like live right now, but I'm still in the room right now too, so it works that way. If you can find her in the live feed hallway.
Hey, I just put it on the Jumbotron, so your live feed. There you go. Boom.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm both.
Yeah, I was. You lost me there. I was like, "What's going on here?" so I see what you're doing. So it's like you're able to move certain areas of the web page, and you can move it around. So just automatic, like Canva. Canva does that, like some other application. But no, I understand. I got you.
Leander, what is the platform that you're using?
So I'm doing vibe coding. If y'all take a look and see, right? So on the screen, this is something that I created. So I wanted to put together a solution. I've been beta testing this AI software. I'm beta testing something on X right now. So a Spoon. So we do a lot of betas and things like that to see, what we like, what we don't like. So I've been working with this particular AI, and it codes for you. All right. So I wanted it to build me a website, right, that I'm able to do pricing. So I thought a pricing calculator would be decent, and hopefully y'all can see my screen. And I thought it was so cool because it has like this slider screen for the hours somebody used to work with me, or not work with me. And then what we're building together. So if somebody's interested in consulting services, then they're able to go in and see my consulting services, how much it is per hour. If they were interested in a strategy session, then I would just click this button and then it would add on there. If there were group workshops that somebody was interested in, then I would click here and it would open up. And then if I was interested in, if there's media services, so I do live stream, I do podcasts, and I do public policy PR work as well. So, and it all has a pricing, right, in order to work. So I was like, okay, I want to create this thing, right, just for services, because people ask me, hey, what's your fees? What do you charge? So I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and do that really quick. So I coded everything that you see here, and this is the end result of what it created. In addition, I wanted it to also create hold on, let me do this, what the media PR looks like. So if it's a podcast appearance, if it's a live stream session, if it's a policy PR support that's needed, then it coded every single thing there and built the packages as well. And the last thing is it also created this last one, which is how do you get in contact with me? So if you're interested in contact, then here's this information. You have to select the country that you're contacting me from. It also did a schedule appointment here, as well as if you're interested in sponsoring me, like in sponsorship, then you can do this here. And I did this all with vibe coding. It was just like, I have an idea. And I missed that part that Steve was saying, which is, hey, Yonda, you want to make sure that you look at a replica or a clone of something. I'm like, oh, see, that's what happened when I'm playing in the area that I have no business in. But go ahead, Spoon.
Is it able to create an illustration of the summary of the results? So this way, in the PDF format, so this way you can forward it to someone. Because I'm assuming that once that's created, is it held there in what you've requested for the quote estimate, right? But if you can create a PDF of a short version illustration with graphs, ratios, things like that, and then forward something that you can forward to a customer, for example, would be awesome. Thank you.
Yes, it can. Absolutely. So there's a flow that happens with that as well. With the proposal as to, depending upon, if you see like here on the second, it's when you select the package, it tells you exactly what you get when you select that package. And then that package can also feed into the slider scale. I was just like, okay, because, I have this whole like menu board of things, and I'm like, these are really what I enjoy doing from this aspect of the business. This is what I enjoy doing from this. And this is a non-techie tech, right? But I think it's important to build things like that just from code. Like, so I was like, okay, do this. And I had to do probably 2 rewrites of this until I got it to the point where I feel comfortable I can deploy this. And then I have it connected to other things like the payments as well. So I use Stripe because, if somebody from Asia wants to connect with me, then yeah, I can do something there. Somebody in Africa that wants to connect, then I can do that too. And Stripe just helps me with the taxation piece to it and being able to accept crypto as well. Just a whole nother thing, y'all. I'm telling y'all. But this is what I do as a researcher and understanding when I go to policies. Now I understand a little bit about what you all are developing. So when they say things like, from who owns the platform, whose name is responsible, and we start to look at who should be held accountable for what's being built, then there's some things from a developer standpoint. No, don't hold the developer. I'm just building what the client wants me to build. So a whole nother level, y'all, when we start talking about policies and building policies. Go ahead, Spoon.
Based on the UI UX that you built there with the AI, is it able to generate something that's pretty close to current as far as the terms of use, terms of service, privacy policy, AI policy, all those stuff, cookies, all that, based on the functionalities that you created? Can it do that?
So in my back end, I do have some analytics and metrics in there And yeah, I can have my terms and conditions and usage, and then all the rights reserved and what's here. But again, I'm not a builder of websites. I just didn't have a website. So I was like, oh, let me try this. Let me code this. Let me see what this can do. And then is this something that I can deploy? So now I attach this to my other website, and it's just okay. Now I add the little title at the top for pricing, and then somebody can go in, and if they want to work with me, here's the pricing right here. I hope I answered your question, but I have a lot of analytics in this particular build. Yes.
Not really.
Okay.
But I get it.
You know, I'm a non-tech, so you just had, you might, I don't know if that was techy or not.
No, this is
Go ahead.
because the other thing that a lot of people, you get feedback, yeah. You can build all the sites you want. You can build certain functions, but the terms of service, terms of use is an important part for legality, right? And typically, I had that over to a law firm or a lawyer. They got a boilerplate terms of service, and they modify it based on your functions and what you do, what kind of data collection you're doing, how you're handling those data, and whatever third-party software that you use, and the SSO certificates. They all put that in there. And the privacy policy, I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of AI policy coming up pretty soon, how AI is going to treat your data, and so those needs to be broken down. So what I'm saying is, based on the functions, the logic that you have in place, can that tool sort of like give you sort of like a generic or somewhat things to look at as far as what should be in your terms of service, and then you take that to a lawyer instead of having you trying to explain to a lawyer and say, this is what it does, this is what it does, I think this is what it is, because a lot of people here are non-techy that are playing in this space, and then they have to be able to convey those functionalities, right? And so to be able to pull those functionalities and give a summary of that to a lawyer or a firm to be able to write the proper terms of service, I think would be awesome, right? Instead of having to translate. Can I answer this question?
Hi, Vinod. I'll be right there. So yeah, you make sense. In the past, I've used believe it or not, I'm all AI. I feel like it sometimes. So in the past, I've used AI terms and condition AI makers in order to fill that in. That's been vetted by legal team. So I do have a legal team out of Miami that works with me on my business. However, that's something that's so important to make sure that you have as compliance when you do have a website. So I'm glad that you brought that up. I really do appreciate that.
Here's my recommendation. So a lot of vibe coders are just doing minimal viable product beta software, and their biggest problem is adoption, not getting sued. So as you're slowly releasing what you've built and you feel that you've got something viable, you absolutely could go ahead and get a terms of service and other regulatory compliance bits from a product in your space that's similar to what you need, and then you could go ahead and ingest that alongside your code and ask AI, please refactor the following terms of service, taking into account the following code. Beep, beep, boop, boop, and it would make some recommendations.
I like that. That's awesome. You sound like a lawyer. Are you a lawyer, Steve?
I have unfortunately had to take quite a few legal classes as part of my M&A consulting. So I work in M&A. So unfortunately, I read a lot of contracts.
Gotcha. Thanks.
See, I told y'all the community is awesome. You see how they, like, we back each other up. We help each other be greater than what we can. I mean, just, this is fantastic. Let me be quiet. But this is just an example. So we're going to code something, y'all. I love the hands. I'm going to go over to Vinod, and then I'm going, oh, my goodness. I didn't see all the rest of the hands. Sorry. Okay, we're going to go to Vinod, then we're going to K-Bot, then we're going to Web 350, then we're going to Rolodex Rex.
Hey, good to see you. Good to see that you are hosting a live stream on this particular topic, and I love this topic. So, I wanted to answer these questions in the most practical manner that I can. And a quick background: I have 25 years of experience as a coder, developer, and development manager, and different other roles. And I work for a enterprise, so I know where you're coming from. So I will give answer in like quickly, but in three parts. Part number one, when you build something using AI coding tool like one that Yanda is showing, that editor knows everything about your code, so it can generate README file, really sophisticated README file that tells everything about the code, which developers hate to do, right? That's one of the things. The second one is, yes, it can create or modify terms of conditions and all the legal file, which again developer hates to do. Now, I will tell you the enterprise way of building that file. That let's say adventhell.com where I work, we have very sophisticated terms and condition that has gone through legal round multiple times. Every time we make changes, they review it again. So the process has been that our legal team provide a big template. Then our developers and product managers goes and fill in some information. Then they have multiple conversation back and forth, and then finally we have a final output, a word file from our legal team, and that's what then developer put inside the website. So with vibe coding, you can do part of that process where you're generating a very specific term and condition file or updating those type of files, privacy policy, AI policy, that reflect exactly what your code is doing, exactly how your code is using different cookies and whatnot, right? Because this editor has all the information, but then there is a layer that still exists even in the manual and conventional and traditional fashion, where a legal team has to review and approve and do all that. So I hope that helped.
Yeah, don't go anywhere. I got questions for you. I'm going to raise my hand.
Hi, Vinod. It's a pleasure. Hi, Vinod. It's good to talk with you. Welcome back. It's been a while. How you been?
I have been doing good. And as I said, I've been in the management for some time, but since October, I started coding again, and I built a different project, and there was a post that I did that I built a killer startup that is just killing ideas and products. So I would build something, and if I don't get traction, I kill that product and move on to the next one. Every next product is the bigger one. So I'm really enjoying it on there. And if you're going to host this type of a space, I'm going to be in all of your space moving forward.
Well, I don't know. Listen, this is for the world. Like I'm learning too. So how dare I take on such a wide coding space as a non-coder? That's bold. Anyway, let's go on to the next hands button. Thank you so much. I think it was K-Bot Web 350 or Web 350 K-Bot? Which one?
Web 350 go out on that. Thank you.
Yes, Spoon, it can do, well, I'm not sure about all of them, but I use Claude, and it can make the contents and put it into the file. It can create the file system. My argument for that would be it starts with your first prompt. In Claude, you can make a project. You give it a title, a description, then you give it project details, and then you can give it added context, and you can actually give it a GitHub link to include any repository, any public repository in your context. So, like what Steve said, I could go to a public repository that I want to clone and just put that link into the context of my AI. And I think understanding context is key to the AI, because in something like VO or Replit or what's the other one? Actually, in Claude, they have these things called artifacts, which is a quick MVP. Like you're talking about, you can see it, click it, touch it, and 2 minutes or something. That's not going to build you the architecture though. So what I'm saying is you create a prompt to build the architecture. You put that into the context of the overall project, and you add in. The problem with AI is it can't keep up. For example, like wallet authentication, the wallet packages change so fast that like humans could barely keep up, right? There's how many wallets are there? Like thousands. One of them changes, you get an error in the thing. So like in the terminal. So it'll eventually keep up and learn that code, but until it does, you have to tell it like this code has changed. So it's like you need to bring all the context it needs together. So you need to know the current tech stacks. You need to know what database you want to use. It'll probably learn that structure, that code, that package faster than you. But you need to tell it to use that. So for me, I understand all that stuff. It's saving me time actually writing the code. But it's not going to stay. For example, last year React 19 came out and the next 15, and it's still trying to I still get errors involving those. And a lot of the packages that are current according to that package are not necessarily compatible with React 19 or Next 15, which is what I prefer to use. And I'm sure that's happening in everything, and everything is moving so fast right now. You have to be keeping up with it yourself. And maybe this transfers to something like, I don't know, being a doctor in biology, right? Like, if you don't know how to doctor, how are you going to teach it or work with it? It probably knows what to do, but it doesn't, if you can't tell it what to do, how is it going to do it? I guess is what I'm saying. But it can do it. Everything I've tried to have it do, it can do. I made a portfolio, and I use the MVCs, and I say, hey, look at this app I just built. Turn it into a blog, format it for the schema in my portfolio website, push it to that website, and create a script for me to push it to the database. And then I go into that file, and I say, I trigger the script, and boom, my blog for the new app I just created is on my portfolio in 4 to 5 minutes. So in regards to the privacy policy and terms, you do have to know the legal aspect, like was stated. But as far as knowing what's in the app, it knows it, and it's going to put that out there real quick. And then you just say, okay, add a privacy policy page, and it'll just turn it, from something you could turn into a PDF. It'll turn it into that page, and then you could even say, hey, create a button that I can download this page as a PDF and take it even one step farther. And I do that with business plans. I'll use it to create a business plan, and then I'm like, hey, turn this into a website, create a simple password, Genius Room 1234. 5 minutes later, I have a business plan protected, and I can send the link to everyone in this room to go over the business plan. But it's knowing those things to begin with. Do you even know? Do you know you can do that on there? And then it's kind of setting up. You have to grant the AI permission to access, the MVC with the file system, and the possibilities are really as far as I'm concerned, endless. But they are limited by the person using it still.
Woo, you telling me. And while we're holding these conversations, I'm actually making birthday cards. I'm going to make some other projects. So there's conversation taking place. There's coding taking place. I revised coding because I didn't quite like the birthday card. I wanted to change. So just showing you what you can do when you do start vibe coding. And then maybe I'll bring up Gemini or Copilot or even Grok. Now think about this. We're on this platform and we have Grok AI, right? Which is, I have the separate app for Grok, and I'm like, this is good. So just imagine just doing vibe coding with Grok. You're on the platform. If you have a blue check, chances are you're paying for this premium already. Why not get the most out of your membership as possible? I'm not a paid sponsor, by the way. I believe in leveraging technology. So let me go over to K-Bot for a second. Hey, K-Bot.
Hey, Yonda. Hello, everyone. In the Purple Pill, I posted a vibe coded monetization for deed fraud for an attorney working as a wealth management and real estate company. And, the attorney's walking around and, he's very, how should I say this? He's mildly arrogant, as many attorneys are. And one of the clients at the company had their deed stolen or forged. And I learned that deed fraud is a problem with real estate. And I'm not a real estate, like I said, my first business. So I'm trying to onboard him to Web3. Okay. So I'm like, yo, what will solve all this? Smart contracts. It's like, oh yeah, AI, they're gonna take over AI. He's one of those kind of guys that wants to be in front of things and doesn't feel really comfortable admitting that he doesn't understand what a smart contract is after all that time he spent as being an attorney. So I went to Claude and I requested it to, create a monetization for deed fraud for attorneys to use smart contracts and NFTs. And I gave them all, if you guys will look when you get a chance, it showed the monetization for an attorney who's not rich. So he would only need a few $1,000s to start up this new monetization of how he could be one of the first attorneys to use AI and Web3 and NFTs and smart contracts to tackle deed fraud. And guess what? I sent it to him, and the next day he avoided me. Okay, he didn't want to. The day before that, he's all in my face talking about stuff. But as soon as I bring up anything Web3, he sort of turns to a turtle. So, 10 days later, he's like, yeah, Chris, I got that email you sent me. I'm going to check it out. And even then, it's like, I'll get at you tomorrow about it. I showed him everything, the AI, how to generate the website, how to tackle deed fraud, how to make more money for him, how to solve problems. And again, he was still reluctant. So I don't know if anyone has any comments on that, but I vibe coded a deep income strategy for attorneys for new income. So now I'm at the point I'm sending it to other attorneys. And I believe it was Web50's point. I believe that this is the way of the future, where you can have your AI have custody over some funds, or to be able to generate NFT smart contract technologies and receive payments and pay on your behalf while you're asleep, and even onboard people, because it looks like this industry is going to take a lot of effort that we might not be willing to do, because here it is. I work with this guy every day in a wealth management and a real estate company. He's complaining about deed fraud. I give him a great use case that he could be one of the first attorneys to do this, and yet there's no connection or adoption, and he knows nothing about smart contracts. So this is just an example of how vibe coding, solving problems, and the challenges of adoption that we face in Web3. So I'll end there. Thank you.
Wow, that's incredible. And to your point, find the problem that you're going to solve for somebody. And, it doesn't, you're the smartest person in the room when it comes to this technology, as you're stating at your wealth agency. And now you've created a stream of income that you can help others with. I think that's incredible. And by the way, you can share that with me too. I can help you with that. So
that's just one. Thank you, Yana. Well, that's just one small fractional aspect of the problems that vibe coding and solutions can happen with blockchain technology. Inside of real estate, there's way more. So you can create all kinds of sites. And by the way, I'll give you guys an alpha. I did vibe coding through Claude AI, and I asked Claude AI to create me a Google Sites format, make it very elegant and professional that high net worth individuals would enjoy looking at. I wanted the color scheme to represent an attorney's office. And I've been in many attorneys' offices, and usually it's wood. So I try to do as best as I can. But as far as like having the buttons and the payments and the videos and the links, and I'm still working on getting that way. But you can see the writing on the wall. Bipolar, metaverse, or a website that can literally, take orders for you. If you have let's say you have a cooking or you have pies or cakes that you want your AI agents to set up shop, start selling your pies or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we're heading. And people who don't adopt this technology, they're going to be going to have a little bit of a challenge to keep it okay with that.
If I could just address this too, because I think it'll be very helpful for people. Because you are practitioners of these tools and techniques, you're comfortable with them. But there was a psychologist back in the 1970s named Alvin Toffler, and he created this concept called future shock. What is future shock? The human psyche can usually only process one level of complexity beyond their own from an emotional standpoint. And if you show somebody something that's 2-3 levels beyond their current comfort level, it will trigger all sorts of anxiety, all sorts of weird things. So here's the key thing, and I've been selling AI for a while. Early on, I did not sell because I oversold. I literally created future shock in the people of which I demonstrated what the capabilities are. So here's what you need to do. You need to slowly introduce these people in a way that helps them understand how it helps them without shocking them. And I think that's probably what you did to this individual. You just came in and just dropped the hammer on him, and he didn't know how to process it.
Steve, real quick, I literally asked the AI I prompted it to address this as gently as possible, the most easy to understand, as if he were new, but I wanted to respect his level of professionalism, and I put all the love and softness I could. If you look at that link to that AI Web3 deed fraud monetization for attorneys that I sent, you can literally see here's the problem, here's how much money you can make, here's the solution. So how can you say with those three things that was combated to him?
Right. It wasn't you. It's the other stuff that he's consuming unbeknownst to you. He just came back from a conference where speaker after speaker said AI is coming after the legal profession. Watching the news at night, talking about how people aren't using even LegalZoom anymore. They're literally doing their own wills, their own trusts. People are winning in court, pro se litigants with AI. I've won a case with AI, with my legal ability. I don't think listen, guys, I am absolutely never going to be hiring a lawyer again with my basic law understanding. I don't mean that. No, listen, unless it's criminal. If it's criminal, I'm hiring a lawyer. But anything civil procedure and torts and contract law, I'm just not going to use an attorney.
But he believes that I asked him what is a smart contract, and he has no clue. And I find it fascinating that these attorneys, think of Harvard and think of Oxford, think of these law universities who have not adopted smart contracts, and all the money they get every year in the endowments and these things. It's like, it's really amazing and fascinating to see such a powerful set of people sort of cringe and be afraid, because he does believe that AI is going to take over. But I'm like, hey, if you believe AI is going to take over, here's a way you can use AI so it doesn't take over you. The first one, and you're right, he did not get into it. And ever since AI came out, I'll land right here. Ever since AI came out, attorneys have been very resistant to this, especially judges. And I think it's counterproductive and counter-innovative. And I'm sorry, but attorneys no longer can hoard or control information like they did before. And I think it's a hard pill to swallow.
And it's self-preservation, right? Human instinct.
I want to tell y'all, like, this conversation is fantastic. If y'all like what y'all hearing, I'm like 16 in the bottom right hand corner in this space. Can you repost and let people know where you are and to join us? Because you all are brilliant. Like, I'm so glad we have the Genius Room. I'm so glad that y'all here, like, sharing and openly communicating with one another and helping the world understand this technology that's here, the possibilities that it brings to their life. Anybody can start, how you get started, why you want to get started. Like, man, the sky's the limit. And I want to point you all to your screen. Remember, we're holding the spaces, but if you click on my profile, I'm still put it in the nest up there. Feel free to follow along in the live stream where I think we've had 216 views already. So yeah, I want people to see my speakers and my listeners that's in the space because you all are incredible. I created this menu. So how many times do you go around and I don't know, I shouldn't say this, but the menus need to be changed out. Here's an opportunity to vibe code really quick. Talk to the owner of the restaurant. Hey, I'll be happy to change your menus out for you. You know, once a month, once a week, however you want to do it, add you a special of the week. Here's how I'm going to impact your business on Tuesday evenings, afternoon, get you that lunch rush. Here's some ideas. So when you vibe code, being able to put an appetizer together menu. Also, there's a pasta menu together. Also, there is a dessert menu together. And by the way, I noticed your restaurant wasn't online. Let's go ahead and launch this for you. What would you like that URL to look like for you? I'm just like, here it is right here, vibe coding, simple. Right. But then, you know, there's so many ways to get affiliate marketing engaged in this as well. I'm going to be quiet for a moment because we have some hands. I'm going to head over to Rolodex Rex, and then we're going to Web 350, then we're going over to Steve.
I want to tell you, I've been just super compelled throughout this whole thing because every time I get a chance to talk, I just love it when you call my name, Jay. I'm just like, I'm moved right now. So, K-Bot, man, that is super cool. I mean, that is large, and what a great, probably the best use case that we've seen. I had a couple of thoughts come to mind. One of them was something cool that I heard from the My First Million podcast. I'm sure you guys know about that one. So they were talking about, like, has anybody like made AI or made money with AI in an intuitive manner, you know? And there was this lawyer example, and what they were doing was they were buying out all of the AI lawyer startups. And what they were doing with that was everybody that started signing up for those startups, they would just contact those people directly and ask them to use their law office. You know? So they were kind of like harvesting the data by, getting all the clients that the people, all the stuff from all the startups, kind of interesting way to go about making money with AI. The next way, so I worked in the home services industry for 10 years in home inspections. And so I was a marketing supervisor, and we had a lot of real estate agents who would always complain about, inspectors who would come in and they would scare their clients away with scare tactics, or they would use alarming terms. We like to call ourselves non-alarmists. And as a home inspector, I'm not there to inspect anything except for what's legally required for me to inspect. And that's it. I'm not there to tell you, what needs to be fixed, how much it costs, or anything else. And some home inspectors, you get a lot of these use cases. And I had a realtor explain to me this one instance where she had someone in their house, and it was a pier and beam home, all wood floors throughout. So it's like completely empty. So in every room, you can hear every single breath coming out of your mouth from across the house. And so she's in the kitchen with her client, and the home inspector's in the back. She says it's a one-man show, country guy, and they both are in the kitchen, and they hear the inspector yell, "What the hell?" And the client said, got real scared, like, what is he saying, what the hell for? Like, well, they're just really interested in being an inspection. By the way, if you're a real estate agent, the best time to come to a home inspection is during the last 30 minutes. And if you need to come before, bring a tape measure. Bring something for you to do, for your clients to do, so your clients aren't up the rear end of the home inspector, because the home inspector does need to focus on that home inspection. But anyways, the home inspector saying, "What the hell," in the other room, and scaring their client. Client didn't end up buying the house. So that gave me the idea. I came up with a unique selling point, a new badge. So it's the "Oh my gosh" guarantee. So our home inspectors are not alarmists. We're not here to scare your clients away. We're not going to use any alarming terms. We're just there to tell you what is legally required to report on the home inspection. Nothing else. Not how to fix the home, not how much it costs or anything like that. So if you ever hear our home inspectors use the term "oh my gosh," then I'm going to personally give you $100. So that badge gave me the opportunity to go in office to market and laugh with a bunch of real estate agents. I never did have to, give $100 away, but it was really a compelling way to market in a manner that kind of related with them. So maybe creating a badge could be something cool, because you are doing something that allows them to be compliant. And then, man, I want to come on board. Can I come help you sell? Let's make some money together. I was talking to Ye. I got a bunch of lawyer books that are updated. These lawyers pay $3,500 a month just to get the online copies of these books. And I got a bunch of them. There's one for every specific lawyer set. So it'd be a great foot in the door. Like if you're a contract lawyer, or if you specialize in ranch or real estate ranch houses, then I've got a book for it that's would regularly cost you $3,500. We can just send it to you in the mail and give us a foot in the door. I got about 200 of them, so it'd be kind of a cool way to market, maybe. And I'm sure there's probably a couple others in here that would be really good. That like Web3 MIDI, like we should I think that this is a really great use case for AI. And I don't only think that it would compel us, but it would really be.
You know what you need to do? Do you know what you need to do? You need to partner with people in this community to create the equivalent of Carfax.com for houses, where you incentivize inspectors to, and they would have to have this ability in their contract, to submit those inspections to a database, such that anybody in the future who wants to look at that house can see every inspector's opinion of that property. Carfax.com for houses.
There's a legal, like if it's the agent, because the agent can't pull it if they've got the contract, but you can still pull it. If you have the access to it, you can still look at it. But there's like one restriction there with being able to see that, because people want to see past reports. You can see that past report with the agent. Like I can't market with the agents with it, because of there's a block there. But it's still a great use case for an online tool for leads. It's a fantastic idea, actually. And
I just want to jump in and say thank you. I think that is such a need, Rolodex Rex, what Steve just threw out there. And I think that you're a perfect person to build the solution. So you have a lot of it. And, one of the things I like about AI, one of the things I like about this technology and why we're talking about vibe coding is there's opportunity here. And so, y'all, like the sky's the limit. It really is. So thank you, Steve, for giving Rolodex Rex that business. Wow, how about that? And so And Rolodex Rex, thank you for your humility to be here to ask these questions out loud because we're all learning together. We're learning in a live stream. We're learning in, wait a minute, in that bottom right hand corner. Like, can we get a repost if y'all don't mind? Like, I really appreciate it because I'm so proud of y'all. And then, because I'm live streaming to YouTube as well as on X, and we have spaces going on. This is just the perfect day for, audio, social listening, and visual listening, learning as well. But before I go on, I have to check in with my host. And Gabby, I'm trying to get you back up here, but for some reason, I can't, like the co-host, I'm throwing you the co-host and it's not, maybe I need to shut my app and open it back up. But again, on your screen, go ahead.
Yeah, Unda, it's not you. It's the fact that there's 20 speakers maybe. They're trying to do the same thing.
Oh, okay. All right. So I don't, so let me say this. On your screens, if you're paying attention to your screens, I just buy coded, right? And these are all pre-built, by the way. So I can't take complete ownership for it. I can't take ownership for sharing it with you all. So this is Spanish greetings, right? So learn common Spanish greetings with flashcards. This is a flashcard vibe prompt. And so I thought it was so cute because and there's progress. You only learn 5 Spanish words a day, right? So, and then find out what's next. Do you know this? Still learning. And then the statistics. Do you know the words? Are you learning the words? Have you achieved mastery in this particular flashcard? How simple is this as an engagement? Somebody comes to your website, have them engaged, so you test their knowledge, have a little fun with your customers as well. And you can go through this really quick. And I just wanted to show you okay, hola. Okay, click here to reveal translation. That's hello, everybody. All right, just so, I told y'all what it was. Next is buenos dias. Anybody want to try? What does buenos dias mean? Anybody?
I'm out because I speak Spanish, so it's not fair. Good morning.
Good morning. All right. Okay. So if I click here, it'll reveal, boom, good morning. You are correct. The next one here, buenas tardes. Anybody?
What's the afternoon?
Let's see. It's afternoon greeting. Okay. The next one. Buenas noches. Anybody?
Come on, Spoon. You could do this. It's good night.
Oh, go say good night. Look at there. Let's check. Is good evening, good night. Very good. It's the evening greeting. And the last one, everybody. Let's do this one. ¿Cómo estás?
How are you?
How are you doing? So this is as simple. And so we coded it. It was a vibe code. Here's what we put in on this left-hand side, what the code should say. Then we can do some more with it. So if I want 10 questions opposed to 5 questions, I can change this and say, well, give me 5 more. I want a total of 10. And by the way, I want it to play a horn like when I get the answer right. Okay, so just something like that. You can vibe code it. But I'm gonna be quiet now. Thank y'all so much. We have some hands, and I believe it goes to Steve now, and then it goes to L.
Yeah, so one of the things that I just wanted to impress upon people is that because the barrier of entry in creating SaaS products or software is starting to there's going to be a lot of people vying for that attention. And so, again, as I shared earlier, think about how you can be proactively solving people's problem, give them a free sample, just like at the box stores of some food, and then just encourage them that if they want more, to reach out to you.
Great call out. Thank you so much. I mean, it makes sense. Again, while we're talking and going through this, and by the way, I would be remiss. We went from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's normally that 2 hour window that we get together as a community. We talk. Welcome to your new community. For those that are new here in this space, make sure you join the community. And I'm so glad that you all are here today. Make sure you're following one another because a lot of people in here host their own spaces as well. So I'm looking forward to that. Let's see if Gabby was able. So I had to reset my app, Gabby, in order for you to be able to come up. So I haven't heard from Gabby in a while. So I know there's some hands, but I got to go over to Gabby and I got to go over to Mike. I got to see their thoughts on all of this because we're now into the bonus half an hour. Okay. And then we're going to start ramping down. And then I just thank y'all for spending some time with us on Saturday. So Gabby?
Yeah, no, thanks, Ed. That's okay. I just want to say this is a great conversation. I love this space because I did post something down in the photo that says we need to take an AI first approach mindset to a lot of things that we do. And a lot of organizations, even the organization that I work for, I do have a 9 to 5, and I work in supply chain. The name of the game is efficiency. And so they have to become more lean because we're getting more data. And more access to these data, because data is plural, it's getting harder and harder for just humans in general to be able to handle. And I'm on the data analytics side and build dashboards. And there's a lot of things that they have now eliminated ChatGPT from us, so we're not allowed to use it at work. But again, we have it on our phones, we have it on our personal computers. But it's not something that some organizations will allow because of different, security layers. As Spoon always says, security. That is very important. But I want to say this is a great conversation. Don't want to take up the time. But I love learning as much as we can here. And I found out I only had one question for you on the live stream. Are you able to see the participants in your live stream? So let's say if somebody were to share it and you have your pricing up, so that somebody who doesn't pay doesn't have access to that link, because people like to pass links around hey, join this, and then they haven't paid. Is there a way to mitigate that, or how do you know that somebody's in your live stream that maybe didn't pay for the what you're teaching?
So what I'm teaching right now, and that's a great question, Gabby, and I'm glad that you like what is going on. There's so much information. You're right. Somebody has a hot mic, and I'm going to mute it real quick. And so you're right, and it's important to remember that data is gold, by the way. And how I have to go behind the screen behind. So I then will live stream from, say, Microsoft Teams, Zoom, and I would do it that way. Right now, this is open and free to the public because, I just want people to get out here and build. But I know how they pay because I go through Stripe and then they'll hit my payment link. So check this out. I can do this real quick. So I build a lot of, what can I call it? My quotes. So I'm going to start hitting things like at the bottom. You'll notice that something's about to come up right here, Gabby, and that'll create on YouTube. That'll create a link for us, and I'll be right with you, Huda. I'll put you on mute, okay? So hold on. So you'll notice that that link is coming up, so you'll be able to click on it on YouTube. It'll go into like the comment section, so people are able to click. Then I can put my payment rails in here as well, so people can connect with me for the coaching opportunity. And then I can also follow me on social media. Here's my landing page. Here on X, it doesn't put my links yet, but it's just work in progress. But on YouTube, it does. Okay. So it's so important to, add that every now and then. So I clicked them at the beginning. So they should actually be on YouTube. So people are able to click that link. Does that answer? And then I have a ticker. So you'll notice that the ticker is going at the bottom. I'll reprogram that. at times when I'm hosting different types of spaces even. And then I have live selling, Gabby, that I can do on this platform as well, which is another, like, different streams of income. So as companies approach me and they talk about their product offerings, there's all kinds of things that you can do with the software. Does that help? Gabby?
Yes, it does. It does help. I'm sorry, I was trying to navigate back. It wasn't letting me unmute my mic, but it does help, because there's a lot of times, people in our organization will say, don't share these links, or don't do this or don't do that. And but certain things, like you said, Microsoft Teams and all the Microsoft products that are very useful. I just wish they were a little bit more available to the public, even forms and creating things, because the analytics is already built behind there. Even Power BI. We were Tableau users, but they retired our license because Microsoft is a bit cheaper, and organizations actually get a better package deal when you go with Microsoft. So we've transformed over to Power BI and building, and it's so easy and so simple. And like you said, you don't have to have a coding background, but you might learn some different types of codes to connect different things. But like you said, you definitely are learning a lot with all these different tools. So I really appreciate you explaining that, Deanna. That really does help.
Excellent, Gabby. In 2023, I became a Microsoft partner. And so I was able to, build out, before I was building out teams and helping to build intranets for companies from a consultancy. So it's just been teaching myself, right? And then learning from different models, and then anticipating what the market needs are. And doing it, this is my give back. This is the one day I get the opportunity to give back to the world at something that maybe is valuable, that they can monetize for themselves. I'm going to be taking care of, everything's good. So I thank you for that. I thank you for your response. And on the screen, you'll notice something, Gabby. I put together, now again, this is another what you can do with vibe coding. And I'm going to head over to Mike in just a minute. The ancient civilizations. So I was looking at this. I was like, okay, this is a timeline. And so history, I defer to several of you in the room when it comes to history even. But here's a timeline that was created. And it has Egyptian, it has Greek, you can isolate it, and it has Roman. So these are just examples of some things that you can create with vibe coding. So it's not just a website, but there's more that you can do with it. Hey, Mike, any thoughts?
Great space today. I've been in and out because, I'm with Mama World or Mama Reyes, I guess I could say in this account. So I'm already doxed anyway, it's all good. But yeah, no, I'm enjoying the vibes, and it's something different, because real estate is fun, but we have to also know how to be able to diversify and learn how to do things like coding as well. And who knows, maybe we'll see a lot more coding in the real estate game, especially with RWAs moving to XRP, which it's a little mini trending on X that XRP is going to be insane for the real estate game, as you guys know, with Dubai and everything going on. And now the case being over, it looks like, I just want to throw this in there, I'm getting on my newsfeed. It looks like, XRP, as many of you know, was the number 2 biggest asset in terms of crypto market cap before the case. And now that it's being settled, running down, it's going to be bigger than Bitcoin with all the real estate that's going to be tokenized on there, all the real assets, gold, silver, etc., because that's what it's made for. But yeah, that was just a side note, a little bit unnecessary, but it's a little, again, mini trending, so I just wanted to throw that in there because Yolanda is amazing, and her main love is real estate, so I had to throw that in there.
Flattery gets you everywhere. Mike, you're amazing too. I tell you, I love that real estate. It's the wave of the future. And I just go back to the simplicity of, if I'm in the space of wealth and acquiring wealth, right? And so I want to empower others to step outside of their comfort zone and to create and live the life that they want to. Live your goals. Everybody should have them. So I really appreciate you throwing that out there regarding tokenization of real world assets and XRP and what's happening out there in the trending. Again, I told y'all he's plugged in. Gabby's plugged in. So, just listen to when people come off the mic in the value that they're bringing to this space. It has been an incredible space, and I'm thanking everyone. Hey, Theresia, it's a pleasure to have you here. Hopefully I said it correctly. I want to go over to L, then K-Bot, then Web3 Fit. Oh, Stu made it up here. What? Yeah, Stu it has. Okay, see, the geniuses unite all of y'all. Okay, so let me go over to L. Hi, L.
I appreciate you coming to me, but I am going to be a gentleman because Web 350 was before me, and I don't want to be rude if he still wants to jump in first.
Okay, thank you for that. Ryan, Web 350.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Al's hand was up first. Gentleman right there.
No, you were. We'll go back on that one. You were. Go ahead.
I forgot what I was going to say now. So back to you.
All right. Well, I was going to say something about when I joined first. It was a while ago, so I apologize. It was a bit boring to bring back up, but I think it was kind of around like the trying to onboard your friends in the vibe coding, and I think it comes under that user experience. For me now, I'm quite excessive with like I like the cursor or Windsurf. I love VS Code. I'm a big fan of that, and I love using Claude. But I think if you were to kind of bring somebody into that, it would drive them insane. Especially if they've never coded before, or never seen any sort of VS Code or Monaco or anything like that. So I think using tools like Lovable is a great first experience. Tempo, AI, I really enjoy as well. I think it's like warming them up, giving them that kind of like automatic and simplistic, and then moving over to going away from ChatGPT and using more kind of Claude 4 Sonnet and Opus and pushing more for that VS Code and going past just the usual like Python code or whatever it may be. And I think a year ago I started using vibe coding because I like doing kind of the graphic design, and it was really annoying me having to work with devs. So I just thought I want to do it. And now it's great because I get to do the design and then just code everything myself, and to the point where now you can do smart contracts. And one thing as well I think is good for new people is Context 7. I don't think it gets talked about enough. I know some people are pushing for MCPs now, but for new people that's really confusing because they have to run them and they don't know what you're talking about. So I'm really liking trying to push people to use the Context 7 raw data files when it comes to like maybe Git repos that they want to use, because it makes that so much easier for the LLM context window to understand when you're pushing certain prompts. So yeah, that's just I just wanted to add a bit of a piece to that kind of conversation. Thank you.
L, it's a pleasure to have you on the speaker panel. Welcome to your new community. Let's give you a follow. Everybody follow L. We're here Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this is the bonus hour. So yay! It's a pleasure to have you here. I'm so excited for you. Let's go to Ryan. Go ahead.
How do I pronounce your name before I go forward? Because I want to say it, but I don't want to fuck it up.
Well, people call me Yay, so you can call me Yay, or it's Yonda.
Oh, it's much easier than I thought. Okay, Yay is great. I'll use that. Lovely. Thank you.
Thank you, and make sure you come back. We're enjoying you. Thank you. That was a great sound bite. Love it. Web 350.
That was a great point. When I'm using the things, like you need to know first, the coding environment, but I didn't even think about how you need to know the AI environment that you're using. And my last rant or explanation, whatever it was, I was just throwing these words out like, they're nothing, but other, like Al just said, people, I was at the pool yesterday and someone's like, did you know so-and-so used AI to do the project report this week? And I was just thinking like, what? Like that's where the world's at still, And it took me like back in time, like we live on X and in like talking to AI. So like that's a great point. We all have to consider that. What I remembered what I was going to say for Rolodex and Oscar, Web3 Grandpapa used to be his tag. said that I don't know if it was Australia or Tasmania specifically, there's an AI where you can submit your like construction plans, and it'll automatically say if it's compliant or not as far as getting the permits to do something. So I think that was not exactly what you were saying, but it's related, you know, and it just, the concept of that transpires into many things like the privacy policy and terms and conditions we were talking about. And then I wanted to say recently, Claude, maybe yesterday even, Claude on Mac, I connected my Messenger, which only works with other Apple, you know, it's Apple to Apple communication. But I actually texted my friend Claude, and he's a data scientist, so I made it like real fancy. And this whole like data, he was like testing it. I was like, challenge me to prove I'm AI, and he was talking to it for like minutes, right? So connecting that to the other thing, the communication is now being automated. So let's say you want to build a shed and you want to know if it's, you know, going to work with the permit, and you submit the plan, it tells you if it's good or not, and then you submit it, it gets sent over to the people right away. And in that case, and in the legal case, use cases, like obviously humans still has to check that, but they could receive it, their AI could comment before them, and boom, they get a notification. They read through it, they okay it, press a button, and boom, it's sent back. So I think that's one use case of it, right? But I think that type of stuff is going to happen really fast. And then going back to what Elle said, and what Gabby got into, who's going to actually understand what's going on here? And you know, Yanda and I talked a while ago. She was talking about how the, you know, employment world is changing. So what role, you know, do people like us with this understanding have in future jobs? Like, can we be a, you know, 1 month contract to like integrate AI into their systems and their workforce and stuff? I think so. I think that's going to start happening more. And you know, what does that just do to the hiring structure overall, you know, across the globe?
Wow. Like, that's all I can say is wow, you nailed it. And so if that's not a compelling reason to get started, right, and to help others, like that's wonderful. I'm just going to go on mute and just, you know, Gabby, Mike, if y'all have any additional questions. I mean, the room is still going pretty strong, and we have some more hands, so I'm going to be quiet. I think it's Rolodex Rex that is next, and then K-Bot.
Thank you. Can you hear me all right? I'm going to my.
I can hear you.
Okay. So yeah, Web 350. I was wanting to talk with you too because of that. The last time you spoke, you say you were throwing out a lot of work, but like I was following you with it. But the only thing that I didn't follow was if that was the NCP solution that you were talking about. And I kind of researched it, and I'm like, well, it kind of made me realize that these NCPs were created for this. And it made me realize that because you were so well referring to Spoon the weaknesses of AI vibe coding software. You were talking about how it doesn't provide like real-time data, you know, the context, like that's what happens. The database, it messes up because it doesn't have real-time data. It doesn't have this hallucination problem. It creates a source of truth for the AI to always, no matter what, refer to with every single move. And even more compelling behind that, I found, I was doing some research, and I'm like looking up NCPs. I just typed in NCP, the acronym, and I pulled this page about the historical context, the McCullough-Pitts neuron. So, and a lot of y'all probably already know about this, but it was super cool to me. So the McCullough-Pitts neuron is a simple mathematical model of a biological neuron. And it takes the binary inputs, which are the zeros and the ones, and applies the threshold and produces a binary output to everything we know in life. And its relation to modern AI is exact. It's the simple. It's an ancestor to today's MCP because of the neuron networks inside of today's large language models. The modern AI is built on like billions of them, and they're so sophisticated, and they're weighted with the same kind of inputs with continuous activation with those MCPs. So it was just so cool that I made that connection with I was able to read about that connection and the historical context behind what an MCP is, based on the very foundational aspect of life and how things work and how things are built. And I mean, just it's every single thing we know and see, is based off of, a little piece of oval neuron, that is structured and colored a certain way, with a certain foundational, conceptual, a true, always true bedrock of which we were built on. So just super cool stuff. Just wanted to share that with you guys. Web 350, I was going to ask you, was that MCPs the solution you were talking about? Because I can't wait to plug it to build an MCP for vibe coding, and then also, is it Benoit, Mr. Sharma? Man, I feel like I got a lot to learn from you. And Ellie, you were talking about Context 7. I was going to ask if you could elaborate on that further. Thank you.
You were referring to me, as a Vinod Sharma?
Thank you.
Sorry, I was just confirming. Can you, I didn't get what you mean by Context 7.
I don't know. I think you was talking to me on that one. I didn't want to jump in, but
okay. Go ahead.
I'll be happy to elaborate. So, what effectively it does is, I don't know if you guys use GitHub. I assume a lot of you do if you are getting to code it. It's the best thing in the world. As somebody who it's an introvert and a nerd, it's the best thing in the world. But you effectively just go on Context 7, put in a GitHub repo. Or you can make one. You can make a GitHub repo as well with documentation of maybe APIs or transaction builders or smart contract builders or whatever it may be. I'm just using those as reference because I use them the most. And there's already ones on there as well, like a lot on there. So you could just type in a GitHub repo, and what it'll do is condense down the information to a certain amount of tokens or whatever, and you can split that up. So when you give it to the AI, because every single LLM has a context window. I think it's Claude 4 now, you're looking at about 150,000 tokens. Gemini 2.5, I think, is around 120,000. So what you can do then is split down the tokens of every single context window. So when you say, I want to build transaction with blah, 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 for example, you give it the broken down Context 7 format, and it goes, okay, well, I can see from this is exactly how you do it. And it makes that prompting much more effective because now you're not just trying to give it something that's somewhat of a guessing game, and it has kind of a large context window to formulate that prompt from. So it's I think a lot of people are noticing now, and it goes back to the real world to a degree. If you fail to prepare, then you prepare to fail, and it's the same in regards to planning with AI. So it's just using these tools to allow better leverage of prompting with more inducive contexts, if that makes sense.
You see how he talks? You can tell, right there, he's working on his context. And I posted somewhere before, I think the best way to start prompting is learning how to talk to people. Really, the precision of his words there. What did you say? The better inducive something? That was great. You can tell he's been, working on his context.
I'm just British.
I'm telling you, all these geniuses in the room, I am thoroughly impressed. I just sit here wow. Pat yourselves on the back. Y'all know y'all very good. I almost got excited and said some graphic stuff fantastic. And Stu is in the house. Stu is in the building. What's up, Stu?
Hey, Yonda, what's going on? Good morning.
Yeah, shout out to all the Genius Room fam. But yeah, definitely appreciate it. I wanted to, jump up here, and I appreciate the event as far as just the vibe coding and stuff. That's something I've been exploring more into myself, especially, when I first came in, especially in this space, I was predominantly on the crypto side, but I'm just seeing more AI, and now I'm, more actually over here than over here. Now, especially as of late, because AI helps all these different tools, and then with vibe coding, it really just opens up the door for somebody like me, where I don't really have really too much or hardly little, still gaining, basic coding knowledge, but now I could, effectively prompt and, be able to tell the AI in like certain ways or whatever, and just working on like prompt engineering skills. I think that's going to be a real thing. Is like how you effectively tell or instruct the AI context to be able to get it to perform a specific task. I think that's the end goal for everybody that's going with the platform. But it's just the process of how you do it, and just also just putting aggressive. I know I mentioned like getting on GitHub. I know I got my GitHub, but I'm just being active in terms of just contributing towards products, because that could be, well, not that could be, that is the new resume as far as within the tech world. People can go see like your past work and what you've done, and everything. But I know one thing I wanted to ask as far as what I've done, like what do people think about prompt engineering, and then what's some more ways on how you can effectively, instruct the AI, maybe not send it down a rabbit hole of confusion. What I mean by that specifically is I mess around with platforms. I know I mess around with Cursor. Interested in exploring Replit and like different ones. But even when you prompt in, doing the AI, I would put it in a whole lot of code, and then it would spit me back, but I would have chat after chat just all in one section. So then I took all the errors, from that specific build that I was, attempting to do, and then I separated them in different chats, and I noticed the AI was a little bit more understanding in terms of like knock these tasks out one by one in a specific chat. So yeah, especially I'm just interested if anybody has any, tips in that area to be able to help. And I think that's an important thing. And then there's also like the potential in it. AI just big with automation, just in terms, because it don't matter how fancy the technology gets. We only have 24 hours in a day. So I'm just looking at, as far as within my industry, I'm over in crypto and Web3. I'm looking to like automate, even if one single task that maybe it might take me like 30 minutes or an hour to do, but I can just create a bot to do it for me. Then I check up on it maybe 5 to 10 minutes, and I can save me X amount of time. So I'm just looking to create these different, singular task models, and then, do it for myself and potentially charge like a small subscription just based on the amount and how much I can accelerate. But my question is just like, just what are some prompting, abilities or fundamentals that like, beginners should know and have?
That's a great question, Stu, and welcome. It's a pleasure. I'm going to allow one of the geniuses that's in the speaking audience answer that question. Any genius want to take that on?
Well, I'd be happy to reply, mostly because me and Stu are kind of in the same field, but K-Bot, I don't know if you wanted to jump in, but it seemed like you were excited.
No worries, go right ahead.
You should, okay, lovely. And I say that because thankfully over the last few months I've been able to do Cardano transactions, smart contracts, and now Solana and Solidity smart contracts. So just trying to help you out on that. I think being concise is really important. Having context files is really important, and that's exactly what I try to push, that context 7. And I think curl requests, especially when you're using APIs, curl requests are your best friend. Getting used to absolutely forcing as many curl requests without getting IP banned as you can. So then you can kind of make your own context. What I usually do when I'm using like a new API or, new sort of backend package or whatever is I try to just get the AI formulated with it. So it kind of gets comfortable using it, especially on like Cardano and Solana and crypto, because they're just so nerdy and extensive. It drives you insane, just to be bottom line. So I understand where you're coming from, Stu, brother. But I would say, really get it, enjoy using RCPs and forcing curl requests. So then you can kind of as soon as the AI does it, it starts to understand why it works, right? And then you say to it, okay, make kind of like an MD file, because then you basically created your own context file. So that's one thing I think is really important when trying to use kind of blockchain stuff.
And there you have it. I mean, excellent question, excellent answer. Like, the techie techs are here. Let them teach us that don't necessarily know a lot. I mean, y'all threw some terms out today. I got to go back to my thesaurus, my dictionary, and learn some of this stuff because, I aged myself with that thesaurus, didn't I? Do they still make this? Okay, Yonda, stay on task. Okay, I got to remind myself sometime, and I'll do this self-talking. So anyway, move on. Yonda, move on. Let's go over to K-Bot.
Okay, I'm not going. Listen, y'all. It's fantastic space. I want to shift to RWA tokenization, but I can wait until after we speak more on AI. What do you all prefer?
Well, yeah, I love the RWAs, and we're going to talk about that in just a second because I think, we've done the vibe coding, but there's one thing on the screen I want to remind everybody to, and then we can open the floor for our RWA conversation on tokenization. On the, wait a minute, I thought it was live streaming. Why can't y'all see that? I don't know, I did something wrong again. So what I did was a color accessibility simulator. I didn't even know this was a thing, right? And so on this simulator of colors, I just create with colors, and I don't even think about what that looks like to people. And this simulator actually helps you to test how your colors appear with people who have different vision impairments. I was like, this is cool. So they might see the colors differently and be able to engage. So you have to keep that in mind when your primary colors, your secondary, and even your accent colors, because that may mean the difference in conversion on some of your websites based on how somebody's able to see your website or not. I was like, man, I'm just learning so much today. So thank y'all so much. Web 350, Steve, did y'all have anything else on vibe coding before we transition to RWA, those real world assets and tokenization?
I guess I just wanted to add that, like, this concept, guys, of like vibe coding and what we're talking about has been around for a very long time, and just incrementally acquire new skills and start skill stacking. I liken it back to the 90s, where you would have an accountant who wasn't very technical and maybe just did work as a financial analyst with a paper file. Then there were those that worked in front of computers and accounting packages. And then there were those that were ambitious and taught themselves Excel and taught themselves like Excel formulas. And then at the top of the stack were the people that self-taught themselves Visual Basic to do VBA coding behind the Excel files to legit create financial modeling applications. And so you're just on this journey of understanding these new concepts and just skill stacking, and then just let's see what your full potential is, right? And you'll be creating some amazing stuff.
That's great advice. Phenomenal. That's right, skill stacking. Yep, I'm excited. Ryan?
When Stu asked that, I actually thought of your app you just made, Yonda, with the Spanish testing. And in terms of context, your vocabulary is very key. And if I didn't know, like when I'm building, like someone, I think Spoon was talking about prompting, and like I don't even think about my prompts, but I was thinking about it after he said that, and because of my vocabulary and the specificity of it, I'm already like so far ahead in my prompts because I'm telling it exactly what to do with the language it should be using. So I was thinking, Yonda, if you tweaked your language app to accept like code repositories, and then instead of learning Spanish, you learned JavaScript or Python or specific packages or libraries, that'd be a great way to steps in vibe coding in a specific language or library or package?
I just want to say the most effective AI users are solution architects. They are the people who have the discipline and are practitioners of understanding the different patterns and practices to really prompt and get some really crazy magic out of AI. So be a steward of understanding patterns and practices so that you can be a better prompter.
And I just wanted to highlight, you said solution architect and not the system architect. Solution architect, somebody who doesn't have to go deeper into technical architecting, but understanding how user will use the system and how the system will function at a very high level. So I just wanted to highlight what you said. Very, very incredible point.
And then when you get to that point, I would add those both as context to have both the solution and the system as part of the context of what you're building.
Wow, that was a symphony of greatness. Like literally, if I was looking for the wind instruments, the strings, y'all came in and that was some goodness. How y'all put that together, helping people to see the value in what they're doing and keeping it simple. Thank y'all so much. I'm gonna go over to my co-host for a hot second. Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, I have to leave at 11 a.m. the top of the hour. Fun fact is that I'm just from in Townsend, Rhode Island. The Dominican community over there hanging out, so I have to go and tend to my mom and my family members pretty soon. It was a great space, but I'll be here for like another 15 minutes or so, and then I'll get going.
All right. Well, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to have you as the co-host, Mike. Thank you for taking time out. Tell your mom, thank you so much for being patient with you while you come on and just kind of help us to be better builders and innovators in this technology space. So appreciate that. I'm going to head over to KBot for a second and let's get started on this whole tokenization of real world assets. Now, I am about to end the live stream right now because it looks like I'm spinning and spinning and spinning for some reason. One camera has on and off. So if you like and enjoy this conversation, join us for the next half an hour or so in Spaces on X, where we're continuing to talk about real world assets. I'm Yonda. I've been your host here on live stream, and thank you so much for tuning in. It's such a pleasure. We'll be back next week. If you have a topic that you want us to discuss and unpack, you see the geniuses in the room, they're skill stacked, so they can talk about a lot. So looking forward to having you all here next week. Thank y'all so much for those that tuned in. Thank you to the listeners that's in the spaces as well. So I'm about to sign off of the live stream. Thank y'all so much for that. I need to do that. So come on, K-Bot.
Wow, Yonda, you're giving me an epiphany of how this space will probably have